Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Dropping Into Happiness. We are on episode 11. This is our St. Patrick's Day episode. I know St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow. So welcome, everyone. We are your hosts. I am Rachel.
And I'm Maggie.
And we actually have a special guest today, which I'm going to introduce in just a second. So I know if you're part of our WW virtual world, you may have seen this face before, especially if you're watching on YouTube. So you may know her. We love her to death. So we wanted to have her on today, especially with this being a St. Patrick's Day episode. We wanted to talk about, I hope this doesn't sound weird, but we want to talk about drinking. I know. How do we still maintain our journey? How do we still, on this weight loss wellness journey and still be able to, maybe have some wine or go out with friends? Because I feel like I've had so many people that I've met along my journey feel like they can't. Well, guys, we're going to talk about it today. Tips, tricks, things we can do. I do want to remind everybody that the merch store is open. If you guys happen to get any of the merch, I know the shirts, the sweaters, the bags, the totes, the mugs, show us your merch, show us your love. We will absolutely give you a shout out on our Instagram. You can tag us, you can send it to us, and that would be super fun. We would love to see all of that. And putting this out there, early April, Maggie and I would like to answer any questions you guys have. We want to do a whole
Q&A.
episode. Yeah, just answering your questions, whether it be about who we are, about our journey, about questions for yourself. Let us know. Send it in to us. You can get onto our Instagram and send it to us in a message that way. We have our website, droppingintohappiness.com. You can leave a message on there, or if you just want to shoot us an email, droppingintohappiness@gmail.com. So I'll put all of those in the show notes just so it's easier for you guys to find. But wanted to put that out there. We're going to start collecting questions over the next couple of weeks so we can do that fun episode for you guys in April. So here we go. I'm going to introduce our guest now. So our guest today is, it's
Drum roll.
Ariel. Yay! For our WW Virtual World People Coach, Ariel. Yay! And we're going to have Ariel introduce herself, tell a little bit about her story and kind of how and why we brought her in to talk about drinking today. So go ahead, Ariel. It's all you.
Hi, everybody. First of all, big Dropping Into Happiness fan. I'm truly honored to be here. You asked me and I was like, oh my gosh, like what an honor.
Yeah.
Thank you. I listen to you every week when I'm meal prepping. Usually it's on a Wednesday, so it works out great.
Oh yeah, perfect.
But yeah, I'm Ariel. I am a WW virtual coach. I joined WW in 2017 as a member, and at the time it was freestyle. And I lost my weight with freestyle on WW, and then I became a coach. I was like, I love this. So I joined with my mom. They're like my mom, my grandma, my aunt. We, you know how it goes.
I think me and Maggie both do it with our moms too.
Yeah.
So it's in the fam,
Yeah.
But yeah, so my mom, I was in my school town. She was in my hometown, and we would text each other when we'd go to our workshops. And we'd be like, oh, I'm up or I'm down. And we'd like cheer each other on. So fast forward, took about a year and I lost my weight. And then I was like, I love this. Like, I love cheering my mom on. I love just being supportive and encouraging. Like, I think I'd like to do this. So that was when I was living in North Carolina, and I was moving to Colorado shortly after. And I said, you know what I want to do when I move to Colorado? I want to work at a brewery and I want to be a WW coach. And I'm doing exactly that. Exactly. Yeah.
Wins.
So, seriously, I joke that I'm 50% bartender, 50% wellness coach, because balance, right? That's exactly what it is all about.
It is.
But yeah, I'm just doing two things that I really love doing, that I'm passionate about.
I like it. I know. And so, like you said, that's one of the reasons I wanted you here today. Because like I said, St. Patrick's Day, big drinking holiday for those of us that do. Because not everybody is a drinker, and that's okay. But along this journey, I have actually had, especially during our WW virtuals, I've had members have a really hard time with that, thinking like, oh, I don't think I'm allowed to have that anymore. Or it's just so many points. I don't know if I want to do that. Or I just can't, I'm just not going to go out with my friends because I don't know how to navigate that and maneuver that. So having somebody that has found such a great balance when it comes to your wellness and it comes to still having those evening outs or having that glass of wine or going to a brewery, or a wine tasting on a weekend. I just thought, I want to ask. I Everyone ask Ariel.
Yay.
So do you have any like tips or tricks or things that have worked for you, or like, let's jump right on into that.
Yeah, boy, do I. So I was the same. Like you were describing when I first, was doing WW and I was working in the brewery. I honestly was so boring. I said no all of the time. I said no to friends. I said no to going out for drinks. And those are things that I always liked doing. It was funny when I would work, when I first started working in the brewery, people would ask me for like recommendations in the area or like what kind of beers I liked. And I'm like, honestly, like, I don't really know. Like, I didn't go to the breweries, even though that was something I really loved doing. So it took time. It took time and ease into recognizing that this is a lifestyle. And I like craft beer. It is a hobby of mine. So I ended up just having to figure out how to make it work. And I did just that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I go out drinking with friends, vodka soda, that is the go-to best bang for your buck. Right. And I always joke, it's like you get hydrated from the seltzer water. If you mull in that lime enough, free mixer. So it's cheap. It's low in points and it gets you where you want to be.
Yeah.
So when I'm going out for a night, that's my go-to. Do you all have go-tos or anything when you go out?
Maggie, you're not a big drinker, huh?
No, I have like an annual drink. If I drink, it's at the tiki bar in the Polynesian on Walt Disney World property, Trader Sam's Grotto. I love a good Mai Tai moment, but other than that, my idea of getting festive is a Diet Coke on the rocks.
With maybe a lime,
for me,
lime in an umbrella.
For me, I was never really that interested in it. I would go to parties in college and I was like, all designated, I'll drive, and then like, where are we gonna go eat after? That was me. I'm all like, that's me. So that's why I'm so glad Ariel's here, because I know there's so many people out there who not only, like what Rachel was saying, think, oh, I can't do this because X, Y, and Z, or I don't know if I can fit it into my points, or some people just don't really realize that you can do it and still be a healthy person. So I think it's great that we're having this conversation, for sure.
Well, and Maggie, your decision to not drink, though, it's not based on your wellness journey, correct? Right.
It was just never a part of your life.
Right.
So it's just something that I didn't have to really navigate. But it is so important to so many people. So it's great to have like those strategies.
Sometimes there are those situations. Maybe you are going to go to a wedding, or maybe you are going to go, out for a celebration or an anniversary kind of thing. So it always is kind of nice to have this in your back pocket. Right. But it's funny that Ariel said, vodka soda, because I'll do Diet Coke and vodka. Because the Diet Coke is zero, and I still feel like it, and I'll do the little lime. I'm telling you, like, I know I was teasing, but I do that too because I feel like it's all fancy. Yeah. But that's probably my go-to. And I love cranberry vodka, but I know a lot of times that cranberry juice can have a lot of sugar in it. So I've shied away from those a little more, but that used to be my absolute go-to. Yeah.
Can I share a prop?
Yeah.
I have a prop. Because we're talking about one of my friends, one of my besties, Katie, she loves to go out and have her drinks and date nights and things like that. And so her big hack is not only to get a vodka soda, but to also mix in a water enhancer, like Neo or something like that. That's a little bit, adds a little bit extra flavor. But there's actually a company called Skinnies, and they make cocktail mixers that are 0 calories, and they're actually on the WW shop. And the company reached out to me and asked me to try some of their mixers, and I was like, well, I don't really drink, but I could do some mocktails. And so they even have a Maui Mai Tai flavor mixer, and so I did it with like 7-Up Zero and a little bit of this, and and it was actually really good. And they have Baja Margarita and Paloma mixer, so you got options. And you can like throw them in your clutch bag, or your totes, and you just pull it out. No shame in that game. That's
exactly why I never got the mixed drink or like ordered it, because I didn't want to pay for it, because they had like $2 extra just for like a splash of Diet Coke. So that would be genius.
I would
do that.
Incognito.
Like a Crystal Light. Totally.
Exactly.
People think I'm like drugging myself.
Like, what'd you put in that drink? Don't worry about it.
Adding some low calorie flavor.
It's 0 point.
Yeah,
But
That's funny. So what's your tips, Ariel? Like, if somebody came to you and they're like, oh, I'm really trying to watch my calorie intake or my sugar
Totally.
intake. Do you have kind of a go-to that you recommend to people?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this. When you go to a brewery, you can ask for smaller pours generally. We do 5-ounce pours, so 16 is the standard, a pint. And then we also do 10 ounces, which is half size. Sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 12. And you can always ask for like taster sizes, which is we do 5 ounces, or it could do like a 4-ounce. And that has just become my standard. I go somewhere and I get a 10 ounce because maybe I want to try more than one. So I at least get 2, and that's 20 ounces. As opposed to if I wanted to try 2 16-ounce beers, that really adds up.
Yeah.
Or I get a couple 5 ounces, split them with my partner or friends or whoever I'm with. But that is my biggest tip and my favorite is because I can try multiple. It kind of also keeps me in check. That's something I appreciate about being on WW and drinking. I feel like I can't be an alcoholic because I'm very aware of how many points I either pre-track them,
right?
Or I sneak away to the bathroom and I add them up in my head. But I always track it, and I know I can't ever get too wild because it adds up, and
It's
you
not
only
worth
have so
it for
many
you.
weeklies. Exactly.
I don't think I realized the small, like that's a great idea to do like the sampler size.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever thought to do that. Like that's a great idea. Instead of having the big 16 ounces, like boom, let's just get the smaller ones. Because for one, I feel like I could try more. And two, like, yeah, it would kind of keep me more in line with how many points I want to take in and then how much I'm going to consume as well. Yeah.
Exactly. And you can count, like, okay, that was 5 ounces, that was 10 ounces. And it's really easy to track that in your app. I have also a prop that would be helpful that I got so I got this from my WW wins, my WW wellness wins. It is a portioned wine glass. So there's 5 ounces and there is 8 ounces. And I use that for wine. I use that for beer. But it's easy. Nobody would know, right? Like that I'm portioning this out. I want 8 ounces so I can track it. But it's super easy. I got them on Wellness Wins, but I also know that you can, on our shop, the WW shop, they have champagne flutes and wine glasses as well. Which Rachel's pulling up
Y'all gotta watch
now.
on YouTube. We got all the props today.
I know. I think we got very excited doing the props for the snack episode. So now we're always like, do we have a prop today?
Great minds.
Yes. But it's funny because I kid you not, yesterday in one of my workshops, we were talking about wine and having wine at home. And that there is, I had to bring this up. I even last night got my notes back out for today's recording. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to bring this up. There is Cupcake. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Cupcake brand of wine. They have a whole new line called Lighthearted. Have you heard of that, Ariel?
No, I have not.
It's okay.
Okay.
So it's they had Chard. I mean, they have a whole website for it, but they had Chardonnay, and I like the sweeter wines, so like a rosé. So I looked it up too. I looked up the points. So the Cupcake Lighthearted rosé for 6 ounces, which is higher, I think. It was just my second line, I want to say. Yeah, because it's 5, 6, and 8 ounces on my little cup.
Okay.
It's only 3 points. A typical rosé for 5 ounces is 5 points.
Oh my goodness.
So you can have more and it cuts down on your points. And I looked it up. Sprouts right around the corner from my house carries them.
Fabulous.
Yes. They have a whole line of them. I was so excited because that was something I used to love to do in the evening. Just kind of sit down at the end of the night or even on a Friday just because I'm like, whew, this week. And I'd have that glass of wine. But it would be so high in points. I got to the point where I was like, it's not worth the points to use. I've already used it all for the day. I don't want to go over on my day, so I'm just not going to have it. But that was something I enjoyed, having my weekly wine, and now I feel like I'm gonna get that because I can handle 3, for my 6 ounces.
Have y'all tried? I think it's popular. The Truly. Is it like hard seltzers?
The seltzers,
That's big in the community. I've never tried any. Or they have like Mountain Dew zero sugar hard seltzers now.
What?
Yes.
You think of a brand, they've got a seltzer for it. And my thoughts on that is that there are so many that you find the ones that you like. Like the White Claw is usually the standard at most places, I think.
Yeah.
Not my favorite. Personally, I really like the Corona seltzers.
They are much more flavorful.
They are. I agree. I think, but find the one that you like, But that reminded me, Rachel, I know that WW partnered with Census. I think that's the brand, but they have a wine, a low point wine also.
Good to know.
I'm not sure if that's on the shop or not. I should have looked that up.
I'll check it out. If I find it, I'll put it on in the show notes. I'll put a link to it in the show notes if I can find that too. So I'll write that down.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, every time you guys, I'm putting this out there too. Anytime I mention a brand or a product, I will try to give you guys the links for it in the show notes, just so it's easy. If you're like, what? Where do I find that? I'll do a link. I kid you not. The snack episode took me a while. We had a lot of snacks we talked about.
I'd love to hear from Ariel and Rachel as well. For if you have a night out coming where drinks are going to be involved, what are your strategies to prepare? Like, I know Ariel said pre-tracking, and it goes in the app, but what are some other things y'all do to carve out space for those yummy drinks?
I know. Yeah. Do you want to take that, Ariel? Go for it.
I sure do, because I make it work. I rollovers, 4 extra, like I'm on maintenance mode. I get a lot of points. I get a lot of points that I don't need. I would say every day I roll over 4 points, unless I am intentionally using those for a dinner out or, drinks. Truly, I would be lying to you if I said that I didn't save up enough weeklies and rollovers where I used them all in a night.
I feel like you really use a lot of 0-point foods.
Yes. Honestly, I only have 2. I only have 3: chicken, eggs, vegetables, and fruit.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll lean on those, but I also just know a lot of I don't know. I just eat lower point, I guess. But yeah, I just rollovers and weeklies, and I will just save them all because they add up. I know it adds up. Like 50 points in weeklies sounds like a lot, but if you could have 3 beers and it's almost that, right?
Yeah.
If you get full size beers.
Definitely.
But yeah, I just lean on those weeklies. What about you, Rachel?
I see, when I go out, it's all about the food for me. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to figure out what I want to eat first. And if I know that I want to get a drink, I will really try to find those lower point options. We have this great brewery. Cause I'm in Southern California. We have easily 6+ either small town breweries or ones that have started to go nationwide. Love it. So I have J. Riley right around the corner from me. And I went to have afternoon kind of, a girlfriend was coming into town and she's like, where do you want to go? And I was like, well, that depends. Are we drinking coffee? Are we getting caffeinated or are we going to day drink? And she was like, I'm down for either. So we went to go day drink. And so I knew I wanted to get a cocktail, and they had this absolutely fabulous, and it was like shrimp tacos, but with lettuce. Like, it was like lettuce wrap basically with shrimp. So basically the whole thing was 0 points for me. So I did not feel bad having my one cocktail that I had with my water, so like basically all of my points from that came from my drink. And I was totally cool with that. My meal was amazing. It was so good. And my drink was fun. And I especially when you're going out with people, I feel like I do try to, keep up on the conversation. That's where I should be anyway. Right. So having that one little drink is fun. And I just had the one and I was very happy with that. So yeah, I think of the food first basically. And I'm like, okay, I know I still want to eat good, but how am I want to find the lowest point option for myself so I can have that drink with no guilt, no regrets, whatever.
Totally, because you got to eat. Because if you don't eat and you drink, then you'll find yourself like ordering a pizza later because you weren't prepared.
Well, I can only imagine. Ariel, I have another question to pick your brain about because I think Ariel, if you don't follow her on Instagram, I'm sure Rachel will include that in the show notes. But she does a really great job of just showing life and wellness just overall. It's really not focused on the scale. I mean, I still don't even know really what Ariel has accomplished in terms of the scale, but I've seen her progress pictures and I was like, whoa, but it's just all about just wellness and feeling good and having that balance. So the day after a night out, what's your routine? How do you take care of yourself?
Literally just like every other day. So I made a post on my Instagram where I don't really talk about myself and my wellness journey. Like, I don't talk about my weight loss because at this point in my journey, it's just irrelevant because it's so normal. Like, my day, I prioritize the gym. Like, when I was scheduling with you all, I knew that I was going to the gym in the morning. It's Thursday. I go to the gym every morning. Right. And the way that I eat is just so normal to me now. So when I have a night of drinking and I wake up, it's my oats. It's my egg. It's just so normal to me. It's the life that I've created, which is what I love about WW. You know, when I first joined, it was all about, I was so obsessed. You know, I was so obsessed with the scale. I was so obsessed with being skinny, and that's all I wanted. And spoiler, that only gets you so far.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I recognized that. It was a major mindset shift, because I had hit my lowest, and I was like, and I kept, you know, hitting a lower weight, and I'm like, cool, I like that. And I'm like, hold on. Like I went to my doctor, and they were like, if you keep losing weight, like we might have to put you on a plan to gain weight.
To go the other way.
Exactly. Because I was so mentally, I was in this game where I liked losing, and I was like, I gotta stop. I gotta pump the brakes. If I don't get my mindset in order, then I don't know what I'm going to do to myself. So So it was in those moments that it clicked to me that I'm like, this is my life. I want to be a healthy person and live a healthy life. So long story for answering your question, it's just another day. Like I go out and I drink, I track my points. Sometimes I'm over. Sometimes I'm not. Most times I'm not.
I think that's so important to highlight, because I think a lot of folks think after a night out you have to do things the next day that are restrictive or super strategic.
Or I have to overdo it at the gym to to make up for what I did yesterday.
Sweat it out, or I don't know, and that's just not the case. The pattern
that's just like a mindset to shake. Right.
I feel like you found just a great level of sustainability, because, you know, you, like you said, when you first started your journey, you're like, well, I wasn't drinking at all because I didn't feel like I could do that. I didn't think I could still have that and still be a healthy person. And the answer is, yes, you can. Yes, you can. I mean, Maggie, I'm going to go back to, I think it was episode 2 when you discovered you could still go to the Cheesecake Factory and still lose weight that week.
Yeah, it's the same idea.
Because you had found a balance. Yeah, because you tracked it, you paid attention, you still had, you know, all the other good days. Because, I mean, like, we're talking, like, St. Patrick's Day comes around once a year. One time a year. We should not think, oh, well, I can't celebrate a day like this, or I can't drink at Super Bowl, or I should, you know, because we absolutely can. Like, it's so funny, Maggie, that you brought the seltzers. Like, with all the planning that I did for this episode, not once did the seltzers pop into my brain. And do I drink seltzers? Yes, I do. I didn't even think about it.
Those are so normal.
I see them on Instagram all the time, and I'm like, just like it's alcohol and coffee. I have FOMO on all the cool things because I just don't like it. But I'm like, I want to be in with the cool kids and all of the fun products. But I know about it. But
I was doing the BudLight Seltzers, and I want to say the smaller cans are either 3 or 4 points, and I love those. I would have one of those, because like I said, if it's under 5 points, I feel like I can work that into my day. Anything over that, I'm like, that's just too much. But I'm loving that so many other companies too are recognizing that, you know, we still can have these things. We still can enjoy our life. We still can go out with friends and have that drink. We can still celebrate St. Patrick's Day on a wellness journey. And because I feel like, I had a member in workshop the other day, and they had said, because we, you know, sometimes we talk about getting off track. And I had a member say, I can't think about that anymore. I can't think about being off track because I'm never truly off, right? It's always kind of in the back of our mind. It's always at our core. So she says, so I just say, oh, I altered that day. It was just an alteration of that day. She wasn't off track. It was just an altered kind of day. And I was like, I like that she wasn't thinking off track anymore. Because like Maggie said, sometimes if we feel like we have to get back on track, we overcompensate.
Right.
And we're like,
we're associating it with we've done something naughty.
Yeah.
And it's really like what I love about Ariel is like, if it's a lifestyle, like we all claim it is, then there is no track or off track. It's just, this is your life. And it's what is the pattern. And so if you have one high point night out, okay, there's like 21 other meals or opportunities for water or whatever the case may be throughout the rest of the week. So it's like, how are you showing up in those other days? I feel like that's what makes the bigger impact. So
it's
very important.
Balance.
And I feel like WW has just given us the tools to be, healthy people. Like, that's what it is really about. It's, I always say, like, you change your behaviors, you change your mindset, you love yourself, then like the scale will just follow. It's about, just wanting to be a healthy person, and then weight loss comes along.
Yes.
Well, and we talked about that in last week's episode, right? About if the scale didn't exist, how would we gauge our success? So there's so many other things that we can use to gauge that. And it's just, it's absolutely like you were saying, Ariel, I feel like the newest WW program, the personal points, it's so flexible and it's so livable that I've even had members say like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything different, but I'm losing weight. Like, I don't know what's going on. Because they've just, because they don't feel like they've overhauled their life. They don't feel like they're not allowed to do things. They don't feel like their kitchen has to be something that's unrecognizable to them. But I thank you so much for coming today, Ariel, and kind of just giving us that mindset of, guys, we can do these things. We can still celebrate. We can still have these drinks. We can make those little tweaks and still have that good time. And Ariel, I know you said you're a listener, so you know what the time is, right?
Yeah, I sure do.
I know. I told Ariel she's going to still have to do a star goal and a recommendation as well. I mean, she's just a guest, but she's still got to do it. So I'm going to start with you this week. What's your star goal for this week, Ariel?
Yes. So lately I have been so I used to say no night snacking. I don't want a night snack. I can't do that. I shouldn't do that. That doesn't work for me. I'm a snacky girl. It's just what I like to do. So I've just recognized that I just have to make it work. And I'm working on drinking tea, just drinking tea with my snack at night. Specifically, because it's kind of like a pause moment. It's because I usually, like I said, I have a lot of points left over at the end of the day. So I could have 9 points and be like, I'm going to have a 9-point snack. And that was so not needed. Like I had just eaten dinner. So I said this week specifically, a 4-point snack. And if I'm still hungry or I'm still thinking about something, have some tea with it, and just like actually check in with myself and be like, do I need to spend more points on a snack just because they're there? So pause with the tea and a 4-point snack maximum at night.
Yes. Okay. And I'm just going to throw this out there. My absolute favorite nighttime tea is the honey chamomile herbal tea. So there's no caffeine, honey chamomile. It has that nighttime, that like sleepy mode. And it's just, it almost tastes sweet, but it's not. And oh my gosh, it's so glorious. So
great.
Putting that one out there.
Thank you.
So what's your recommendation? You have a recommendation for the listeners this week?
Yeah, I do. So I'll just be curious, right? Whether it's, like going to your local liquor store and saying, hey, what kind of low calorie beers do you have? Because there are a lot out there. There's different, a lot of companies were coming out with low calorie beer, low calorie wine, like ask somebody at a store. Or maybe if alcohol's not your jam, get creative with like a funky seltzer and like a mixed non-alcoholic beverage. Just have fun. Ask questions, try something new, keep things interesting. That's my recommendation.
I like that. Be curious. I think that's a good one. That's a good recommendation. All right, Maggie, I'm tossing it to you next. What's your star goal and recommendation?
So in the week that this episode is popping up, I will be sandwiched in between 2 big weekends. The weekend that has just passed will have been the weekend where my parents are coming into town, so we're gonna have, and everybody's on WW, so that helps. But obviously they're out of their normal realm. We're gonna try some foods that are out of our normal routine. And then the following weekend, I'm going to a NASCAR. No, is it NASCAR or Supercross? I don't know. Some race we're doing in Atlanta. It's that time of year for us. So I'll be kind of got some bookends there. And y'all, if you've been listening to our podcast, you know that I'm working on some guidelines. 2 meals out, 2 drive-throughs. I think I talked about that. Did I talk about that?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, I remember that.
Woo! Okay, so my intention this week is to stick to that, knowing that I have those opportunities to eat out and have exciting higher point meals over the weekend. So that is, I'm just keeping with my intentions there. Yeah. And my recommendation. Go ahead.
I like that, Maggie, because you're maintaining that same goal. And I've tried to tell people that before too. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every week. If it's something you want to continuously work on, you can have the same star goal each week.
Consistency.
Yeah, that consistency until it becomes something that you're comfortable with and you're like, cool, I have nailed that.
Right, because I've been working on it this week, and I have been really still having to kind of weigh my options, so it's not a habit yet, so I gotta keep working.
I think it's great.
Thank you. And then the recommendation that I have for anyone who is doesn't drink alcohol or perhaps is not as interested, if you haven't tried Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar Cherry, It's really good.
Ooh.
Just want to recommend that, and the Dr. Pepper Zero Cream Soda.
We have that in my
Ooh.
house. Mhm.
It's so good.
sounds
I love
It
it.
is.
And it just feels festive. Like if you're drinking the
Yes.
plain water all day and then you need a nightcap, you know? Dr. Pepper
Truly.
Zero
Wow.
Sugar. It makes
Love
a
water.
difference.
Gets
And you can
old
still have it in your
sometimes.
fancy
gets
glass
old.
too.
You
Yeah.
could have it in a fancy glass.
Okay, so my star goal this week is kind of funny. I'm going to buy me a bottle of that Cupcake wine.
Oof.
I said that's
Good for
something I
you.
really used to enjoy, and I want to make sure that this journey is sustainable and it's livable, and it feels like it's something that I enjoy doing. So I'm going to get me a bottle of the Cupcake Lighthearted, possibly the rosé, but I heard the Chardonnay was glorious. So I'm going to get me a bottle of that this week, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to use my measured out measurements, and I'm going to have some on Friday night because it's not Friday today. So this Friday I'm going to enjoy a glass of wine like I used to, because I want to still feel like I can enjoy those things. And my recommendation is kind of like Ariel's, but I like how hers is more be curious. Mine is don't cut it out. If this is something that you enjoy, if you like going out to have a drink with your girlfriends, if you like having that glass of wine on Friday nights, don't cut it out. We can figure out how to get this in there. Even if on, once a week, you're like, cool, I've saved up my weeklies for this, or I know that I've had a lot of 0 points today. Keep it in there. Like livability, sustainability, still feel like you. So don't cut it out. I'm like, don't cut it out. Yeah, don't.
Full house, yes. Because it's true that I've learned from folks who have been successful at maintenance, anything that you do in weight loss mode, you have to be comfortable doing for the rest of your life if you want to be successful. So if it's something you love, make it work. It's totally possible. Yes.
And so, how I think it was last week I decided that I wanted to end every workshop with a quote. And this one, I believe, actually came from Maggie. So this is one that we've said in the past, but I think it's very relevant to what we're talking about this week. And so our closing quote this week is, you can have anything, maybe just not everything each week.
Heyo,
Right?
yes.
You can have everything. Maybe just not everything. Yeah, so that one is from you, Miss Maggie. I mean, you said that a while back and I wrote it down and I still had it because I like that. I think it's very relevant to what we're talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
She's like, what, me?
Mantra Maggie, put it on a mug.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm telling you, I think I've done hashtag Maggie's mantras before because she has the best ones all the time.
Keeps me going.
Oh
All
my
right.
gosh. All
Thank
right.
you
Yes,
so
let's-
much, Ariel, for
Thank
being
you.
with us
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Biggest fan. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Liz.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for showing up today. So thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, have a magical day. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.